Hello and welcome to Levant TV Headlines. Syria has asked the United Nations Security Council to impose sanctions on neighboring Israel a day after Israeli warplanes struck near Damascus. Palestine has secured an observer status at the International Criminal Court, paving the way to press war crimes charges against Israel. US Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel is visiting Iraq to review efforts against the Islamic State group, but insisted it was up to the Iraqis themselves to win the war against the jihadists. Leaders of energy-rich Gulf monarchies are to meet today to hammer out a common strategy to fight the threat from Islamic extremism and plunging oil prices. And American embassies are on heightened alert amid fears of a backlash to a long-delayed US Senate report into the CIA's brutal interrogation of al-Qaeda suspects after the 2001 attacks. Now let's take a look at the top headlines in today's newspapers in the Middle East. Starting in Lebanon, the Daily Star leads, reporting that the Lebanese army pounded militant hideouts in the outskirts of Arsal overnight in some of the heaviest shelling of the area yet, security sources said Tuesday, suggesting that the increased tempo of the offensive might signal the beginning of a large-scale operation. The paper also reports that the Nusra Front has taken 3 Hezbollah fighters captive in Syria's Kalamoun region. The Egypt Independent leads, reporting that an Egypt-based organization promoting free speech said in a report Egypt has possibly succeeded in deceiving the international community concerning its domestic human rights conditions. The paper also reports that Minister Khaled Hanafi says the Food Supply Ministry has started to implement a plan to transform the used cooking oil to fuel. UAE's Khalij Times reports that the 35th GCC summit will start in Doha today and is expected to tackle crucial issues like the war on terror, drop in crude oil prices, support for Egypt and ties with Iran. The paper also reports that King Abdullah bin Abdul Aziz of Saudi Arabia has appointed new ministers for health, higher education, transport, agriculture, information and Islamic affairs as part of the kingdom's broadest reshuffle of second-tier posts in years. Now let's take a look at the top Middle East headlines from the UK papers. The Independent leads its Middle East news, reporting that Iran has called on the US to stop the practice of racism and inhumane behavior as protests continue to rage across America over alleged police brutality against black people and minorities. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Marzieh Afgham said America was operated to double standards and needed to take a close look at itself. The Telegraph leads its Middle East news, reporting that recriminations were deepening last night over the handling of a US commando raid in Yemen that led to the death of the British-born hostage Luke Somers, after it emerged that a South African hostage killed during the raid was just hours from being released. Analysts raised the question of whether the raid was really necessary, given that, unlike Islamic State, al-Qaeda had a track record of wanting to cut deals, whether for money or prisoners, in return for hostage releases. And The Guardian reports that Chuck Hagel has arrived in Baghdad for the first visit by a US Defense Secretary since Barack Obama ordered American troops out of Iraq in 2011. Hagel said the US was training, assisting and advising Iraqi forces, but the key to progress was an inclusive government in Baghdad that could rally all Iraqis. Now let's take a look at the top Middle East headlines in international papers. Germany's Deutsche Welle leads, reporting that al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula has claimed responsibility for Tuesday's attack, claiming on its official Twitter account that it had killed and wounded dozens. However, the Reuters news agency cited security officials who said that the bombers' cars had detonated before they could enter the compound, and the Defense Ministry sent out a text message saying soldiers had foiled the attack. Finally, China's Global Times reports that Iraqi security forces, backed by allied Sunni tribesmen and Iraqi aircraft, repelled a major attack from 5 directions carried out by IS militants on the government compound in central of the city of Ramadi, the capital of Anbar province, leaving a total of 31 people dead and 11 injured. And for more updates, please visit levant.tv. Thanks for watching. Be sure to join us again tomorrow. Bye for now.